Valiant Legacy Saga. Chapter 1. Trouble on the Water. Dawn bled thin over the Great Twilight Ocean. Steel-clad steamships and black oil barges cut their patrol lines through the chop, flags snapping in the brine-cold wind. At their heart stood Grand Admiral Aelador, the sea's austere sentinel, katana at hip, matchlock holstered like a final word. He was halfway to his quarters when a sailor stumbled up the companionway, cheeks salt-slick, breath torn. "Grand Admiral, reports of a strange fleet. 2 of ours sunk, 1 oil store sacked." Aelador didn't curse. He never needed to. "Signal all captains, hold formation and ready guns. Shore detachments, eyes open, assume the worst." Orders leapt through signal lamps, and the fleet settled into that taut, anticipatory quiet. Sailors learned to respect. Night fell like a drawn veil. Then the news came hissing across the wire. 2 more isles struck, a third taken by a name no one recognized, save a survivor who croaked it like a wound. The Marauder King. Aelador turned his fleet by lantern light and made for the coordinates. Grey morning rose to meet cannon thunder. The enemy hulls were rough-built, foreign timber lashed to foreign dreams, yet their broadsides bit deep. Splinters spun like sleet. "By the Maker," Aelador breathed, watching another escort list. "How do such ragged hulks draw blood?" "Broadcast!" the signalmen shouted. Static cracked. A voice climbed out of the abyss. "I am the dragon god," it said, calm, cold. "As your foundries choked our skies, so shall we foul your seas, 1 island at a time." "Boarders to the boats!" Aelador's command struck sparks along the decks. "Shore regiments, advance!" "Break their line, take their camp." The fleet answered in thunder. Men lashed to oars and splintered gangways fell like rain. At dawn, their hulls met cannon fire, and the sea became a ledger of smoke and salt. The Admiral's ships returned the barrage, and for a time, the ocean belonged to iron and flame. They sank what looked like makeshift rafts and patched hulls, wood that spoke of distant shipwrights and harsher coves. And yet the enemy's ferocity did not falter. Within moments, Aelador saw to his horror that those ragged vessels now ringed the isle as if the sea itself had grown teeth. Aelador ordered the island assaulted in full. Boats swarmed the shore, and what had been a naval duel became a grinding campaign of blade and smoke. Days lengthened into a blur of grapple and gunpowder. Men died by the hundreds. Banners burned low. At last, under a moon that made the surf silver and terrible, scouts found the Marauder King's encampment, tents and iron, and a great central standard that flapped like a taunt. They struck in the night. Flames ate the camp. Screams tore the dark. For hours, the air tasted only of ash and metal, until the fires burned themselves to memory. When dawn came and the smoke settled, Aelador strode into the ruin of the camp. There, amid the blackened frames and the bodies, stood the Marauder King, dragon god, tall, blood-slick, eyes like flint. He and Aelador faced each other where the world had been smoldering a long time. "Even if I fall," the Marauder King said, coughing blood, "it is too late. There are hundreds more out there." He spat and laughed, the kind of small, terrible sound men make when they believe they have won. "Shut your tongue," Aelador answered flatly. "Surrender or die on this island." Steel sang as both drew, Aelador's katana clean and quick, the dragon god's weapon a hulking greatsword that ate light. They fought as if their blows could carve epics. The duel lasted until muscle burned and breath thinned. A shout split the clash, a single bullet cracking from a distant tower. The Marauder King's shoulder exploded in ragged red. The greatsword dropped from his hands like an offering. He went down hard, wind knocked from him. Aelador did not celebrate. He signaled sailors to find the shooter. Then he walked, gun leveled, to where the Marauder King lay. "Finish it," the fallen man croaked, blood carving his mouth. His laugh was thin and terrible. Aelador lowered his pistol with a slow, terrible calm. "No," he said, "you will live." "Take him to the medbay," Aelador barked, He will be judged, not killed here." The men obeyed, binding the wound and carrying the fallen king between them. As the fleet reformed and prepared to sail, another alarm rose from the crow's nests. Reports crackled in from across the sea, oil slicked in veins across the water, wrecks dotting trade routes, islands aflame. Aelador's jaw tightened. He strode toward the flagship's comms and sent word north, urgent and raw. He would take ship for Dunham at once and summon the Empress Aloriana Dunham by voice. The fires on the ocean would demand counsel and steel alike.